This is the scenario we pull into. This guy just spraying everything. So we're taking this death here and we're gonna turn it into life with this awesome palette that we're gonna be putting in Syntropic rows here. This is our goal today. We wanna keep people in Florida from all over, from spraying this type of stuff, from killing these yards, making this worthless, useless lawns that mean nothing. You want a status symbol? It's exactly what we're gonna do here. Stay tuned. We're turning Florida into Eden. Eddie always got the machete with us. It's a nice rack. I've actually put it there when it's shaded everything. And we have a plethora of food in our food forest. The front, listen. They're low. It's that time.
It was not a good song.
Yeah, but their stuff is awesome. There you go. Give you the idea of the pathways. And I stepped in Sonny's dog. We just got a heavy rain last night, about 2 inches on this property. So you can see it's pooling. It's about 4 acres. You can see they already got kind of a jungle going on here. We're gonna be building out Syntropic rows. So the homeowner, they are raw vegan. We're gonna have to get a little creative here, but they've already got some fruit trees in here. Nothing was mounded. It doesn't appear to have any mulch. A little bit of mulch around them, but they put pigeon peas in as like a support species, but no one ever trimmed them. So the pigeon pea basically took over and is now bigger than all the trees. We just got to be conscious of this water here. We had the property marked, so we know exactly where the lines are. That helped us out big time. You always call 811, they'll mark off all the utilities and stuff, but we had the line there and we have the line here, so we got to work within this. We're doing 3 rows, a wind hedge, then we're going to do like tropical fruit rows, and then we're going to do our main mango and avocado. You're going to see this all come together. Our homeowner's coming out, so we're going to walk through there now. We're at Troy's Tropics here. If you haven't been to Troy's Tropics, down here in Sarasota, love this place. They're awesome. And I got it packed out. I got the Prockins, the mangoes. We have a bunch of citrus. I normally don't do citrus, but the homeowner has his setup now, and the citrus they're all doing pretty well. Now, sometimes we recommend like, hey, this isn't the best things, but I think that this will work out. All right, day 2. We got Ethan here. Hey. Man's back. We are digging out all the trees that we have here initially. We're gonna skid steer brand new rows. Ethan pointed out they didn't mound up these trees, like they're sitting really low, and this is all wet area. Like so wet, it's just wet. You also see these roots haven't really expanded out. We're gonna try to salvage this guy and reset. But we're gonna take out all these trees, reset the whole thing. And we do have to adjust. We're gonna do 3 Syntropic rows here, a wind hedge, Syntropic row, Syntropic row. We're gonna adjust that because this water's still sitting, still pooling. What do Ethan say? Adversity just makes you stronger. So that's why we have a design. Sometimes we're gonna go off the design. So the main reason we're here is because these fruit trees were not producing. And Ethan just dug this one up. And you can see it looks like they didn't do the T's that we do. And these were probably a little root bound, root balled. And they didn't get a chance to get in there and really dig down. Like the soil looks all right here. It's not too shabby. So I think we're gonna swap these out with better trees anyway, but some of these are still salvageable. This guy's an avocado here, so we'll hold on to him. There's another but with a lot of these, it's just the root stock's coming out, and that's when it was grafted, whatever the original is. Coming 5 feet off of the property line, then the hedge is going to be about 3 feet. So we're gonna have the hedge is going to be 3 feet. What do you think, Sonny? What do you think about that? This is what we're working with. Chris is over there. He's still moving. He's got most of his berms set up. We're going to get this done. We're going to take out the rest of these trees. The only problem that we have, potential problem, it's only geared to go around each individual tree, not spray out through the whole row. So Ethan and I got to reset the lines. So we have spray heads here too, so we can get all the support species like those bananas, like those papayas. This looks like it was semi-mounded up, but when Ethan's digging, he's realizing, look how deep that goes. We talk about that all the time. You do not want your plants, your trees planted that deep. You want to mound them up, and this is horrible. This is rotted. It's almost to the graft was under. We want to pull all this up, we want to mound, and we want to have the soil come right down to here where you see the top of the roots. Never this high up. This is why none of these are working here. I mean, there's a lot of other reasons, but this is one of them. We're getting rid of all this grass in here. We're gonna just take this out, fill this all in with the compost. We're just going straight compost whole way. Then we're gonna match it up with like 4 inches of mulch. You can see we got them up about 6 inches here. This is good composted soil here. Put a little bit more on, and then we're gonna start, we'll probably get all these rows set first, and then we'll start planting. We're trying to figure out, do we want to put another row here or keep everything on that other side? But when you look up here, you gotta look at a lot of the contour. This comes down. These are those new homes. They come down, and right where that is, it comes back up. So the water sits right in here. So we really want to work with the land. I'm not trying to force anything, because theoretically, if we do put another row here, it could flood out. So you can see we get the rows starting to shape up here. Got that hedge. We're gonna start laying out some plants. We're trying to salvage what we can. There's about 10 plants here that we can salvage. I ordered I got more than what I necessarily needed. I can always return it, but I'd rather have a little bit more right now than not. We have 1, 2 beds per row. So that's a row, 2 beds. And then within that, we're gonna have like blocks. So it's gonna be like citrus, support, citrus, support, citrus, support. We found the broken line here, which I think explains why a lot of these look dead and weren't getting anything. So we gotta fix this tomorrow. Right down there, she broke. And gotta pull this out, cut that in there. I'm finished putting in the mulch here. Just for reference, this is about 115 feet. We're going about 3 to 4 inches on there. Going about 6 inches on here. And this is before we put in our soil, you know, when we mound up the actual trees. All right, we're back here, day 3. Myakka's setting up this Syntropic system. All this area gets wet in here. We showed it before. You see how it dips down, it gets wet. So we're building up where we're gonna put the rows. We're gonna do a hedge, Syntropic row, Syntropic row. This is gonna be fully built out today. All the rows, everything done. And then tomorrow will be our big plant day. This is like that kind of soily or kind of sandy, a little bit of like clay in here. It's that Myakka soil. I like to put in painter's paper, like the stuff you put on the floor. It's like a cardboardish. Put that the whole way down to suppress the weeds, and use an auger, dig your holes through. Again, create that north wind hedge, because that wind's coming this way. It's going to protect those mangoes, those avocados. There's carambola we're putting in. They're wind sensitive. We're going to take this system from being more on the north or being on the west side, and we're going to bring it more to the east and put it down here, more near the banana pit. Water sits in here a little bit more, but this sits up. You see the slope, this actually sits up a little higher here, and it's better access from the backyard for them to come down into the food forest. They can also hit the food forest on the south side. And then also it's creating that privacy hedge. This hedge goes right across here, and if you look, that's looking in where their pool is. They're gonna be outside a little bit more intimate space, and that other hedge is right there. I'm gonna go through what we already have here with the Syntropic setup system. So you'll see we have this wind hedge. This is the first thing that we have. We have this awesome composted mix here. This is a couple inches deep. We didn't necessarily need to make it this deep. The whole point here is that not only does this create a windbreak, not only does it create privacy, but it's edible. Then we shift over to here. A lot of what we already had here, we showed you before, is all these trees are dead. They were basically just put right here in a row, and they kind of died. This is wet in here. They weren't mounded up. So we're mounding up this whole system. You can see we have about 6 inches of soil here. We're gonna put our main fruit trees in. So about 5 to 6 per this about 60-foot row. We're gonna put in the main fruit trees. And while we're waiting for those to blossom, we're gonna have support species in between. So bananas, papayas, sugarcane, these things grow really fast. So you can get productivity, you can get food out of them quick while you're waiting for the other stuff to kind of develop. And then when you're done, you chop them, and then you put that right back in the system, all the biomass, and it'll continue to build up the soil. The whole thing is here is you want a good foundation, you want soil. The Bible says, build your house on rock, not sand. We say build it on good soil, not dirt. There's something in there, I don't know. But anyway, that's what we're doing here. We're gonna have 2 rows. This is gonna be absolutely packed. The family can come down right from their pool there. They can get the food. They don't have to worry, be in their bathing suits, don't have to worry about the neighbor seeing anything. This could be awesome for their children. They have small kids to be able to be in this Eden-like environment, all natural. We're not spraying anything. We're not doing the standard monocrop. This is gonna have a full forest-like system. And as you can see, we did pathways through here. We made sure we're about 5 foot off the property line for the hedge, because that's gonna fill out. We got about 5 foot or 6 foot in between here. You can take a wheelbarrow, and then in between, these are each 5 foot as well. So we have plenty of space for the main trees. We're gonna have pineapples. We're gonna have grasses that hold this in, keep from erosion. We're gonna keep the water from coming up into here. We got these 2 rows here. On the other side, we're gonna copy this same system, except we're gonna add 1 more row, and that's what we're working on today.
This is all biomass. So what we can do is stack it all up in a big pile, cover it with soil, and as that breaks down, creates more soil, very nutrient dense and awesome for raised beds.
And that's the whole purpose, like what he was saying anyway, is to chop and drop.
No waste.
Yep, so we're chopping it, instead of dropping it on the surface, we're putting it on the bottom, and then we're gonna mound up on top of that, and we'll do that with those 2 other Syntropic rows we're doing here. This is what happens when you don't maintain a system. That pigeon pea got so big, they grow so fast, that the pigeon pea's roots took up this whole thing, so they put it right next to this avocado. The avocado roots are balled up right here. That's the avocado roots balled up. The rest of this entire space is taken up by the roots of this pigeon pea. And it basically just overwhelmed the system, which is why we see stunted growth and no expansion of the roots in like here you go. I could pull that out with my hand. That's like, the roots didn't go anywhere on this avocado. Look, they're balled up. This is a guava. From here down was under the mulch / soil. So you can see this here. Mulch / soil. 1, you can see how the mulch breaks down, which is great. But 2, did literally irrigation right on this. So this is starting to rot all in here. We're setting up the rows right now. We always have our design. So we have the design right here. You see that design? Probably not. I'll show you another view of that. Anyway, we have the design here. As we're walking through the design, we lay out the tape measure because we have blocks. That's the best way to do it. Put the tape out, measure every 15 feet, put your tree, your main tree. Every 12 feet, put this. You just keep doing that over and over and over. Oh, on repeat. Ain't that right?
Wow.
Look how beautiful that is.
Dude, the clouds are definitely fake.
Oh, there you go.
Look how wispy they are.
Yeah, they are whisper. We have most of the system staged out. Here's the hedge. We're just missing the mulberry and the ice cream bean, you know, the main things. But we had that cocoa plum and the fire bush. We decided to stick with the dwarf fire bush. Just because I don't want them to get too big. If we had the ice cream bean and the mulberry, they're already big. It's gonna create that wind hedge here. You can already see the wind. Look, it's pushing this, so that's gonna block that. Especially for these more wind intolerant species like the carambola here. We have several different varieties. We have the limes in here. We put the citrus in between the mango and of the hedge. So that way the mango kind of blocks the light from absolutely scorching the citrus one, and we notice better production on citrus when they are in shade. So that's what we're doing. Also got this one. This is a red lime. I haven't had this before. I think it's a mix between like a mandarin and a lemon. Interesting variety. Should be nice and tart and sweet. Kind of see. I like this kind of this row. We're gonna have mulberry here. How they kind of stagger. It's gonna look nice. This is a beautiful Florida day. Sonny's back on site, chilling. Ethan's back here, putting in some of these trees. We got everything marked, everything's set up. We're putting the trees in first round, then we'll do irrigation. Whenever you're doing this stuff, whether you're doing it yourself or you have a company, whatever, if you have a company, I'm sure you have the horror stories, but just be very careful of the pipe. Sometimes when you're dealing around pipe, don't even worry about the auger. I'm not gonna use it on this. We're literally just gonna dig right in. It's the best bet. It's not worth another Home Depot run. How many Home Depot runs can you do in your life? 100, baby. That's like a week. Let's talk about doing the volcano. So we kind of mound that up, do the volcano. Just stuff the water gets wet down here. Keep this nice and mounded. I love this. Look what we already got. Look what we already got coming in. We're gonna fish with this. You know, these babies do their thing. They're already going down in there. Sonny, hungry big boy? I'm kidding. Feisty bugger. What you working on here, Ethan?
Some irrigation.
What exactly are you doing with this new and old?
So we're kind of adapting the old system, so where we can put a bunch more overhead sprinklers and little drip lines to feed this new high production Syntropic rows that we have.
We put in a couple things, mostly the support species, but this is, and this awesome pomegranate. They had another pomegranate with spikes all over it. This is the wonderful. They don't have the spikes, so I like this variety better, and they just taste wonderful. You can see these things are still starting to flower here. Some of this is, no, actually, that's the only thing that's theirs. We put in the guavas and we got a bunch of citrus. We'll go through it at the end of the video, what we got in here. But this hedge here is almost complete. That's day 3. That's a wrap. Day 4, we're back on. We got all the rows set up here. We're on zone 1. We're almost all done. We're just waiting for Chris to come back so that way we can get the irrigation, or that way we can get the mulch in. But Ethan's working on the irrigation now for the hedge. We had the cocoa plum, the fire bush. We're using ice cream bean, which comes in today. And then we also have the mulberry here. But you can see we got the compost in. Now we're just getting everything planted up. A couple hours, Chris will be here. We'll have this whole thing wrapped up. And I want to point out something. Part of what we're doing, I mean, so much of what we're doing is to restore the land. And so much of that is the soil, right? Like, rebuild the soil. People can worry about farmers today. Like, this is like the standard land that farmers don't build up, or most people don't build up their soil. It's like this. It's sandy, it's trash, it's hard, it's compact. This is what we do. We brought in this local composted soil that's literally coming from right down the street. And then as we put the biomass down, as we put the bananas, the leaves, as we put in, like even this right here, even with our pineapples, as we drop all this compost in, people are like, why do you compost? It's because you're building up the soil. Like, look how lush and fluffy that, smell that? Smell that? Look how lush and fluffy that is. This is what we're doing. We gotta rebuild the soil. It's like your gut. People talk about gut health and microbiome. Like, what is all this stuff? It's the same. If your gut is trash, your whole body is not gonna work. If the things that aren't working in here, nothing works. Like, it could be trash. You could be walking around. People might think that you're okay, but a lot of people are so medicated that they're trying to like balance it out. It's the same thing with the soil. If your soil is not good, your body, the system, the plants are gonna be trash too. Now you could spray fertilizers and pesticides and all this stuff to like keep it going, but as soon as you don't have those inputs, the whole system falls. So what we're doing is we're building up the system. That's why we say bring back Eden. Like, Eden didn't need outside resources. Everything God created was right there for Adam and Eve. Then they leave the garden and now they have to till. Like, we don't till, but they have to leave and everything's so much harder for them. They ate fruit. Now, I'm not saying be a fruitarian, or I'm not saying be a vegan or anything. The whole system works together. But the thing is that if they're eating fruit, that's a perennial. Fruits are always just fruiting year round, and that's the system that we're building here. It's not annual. You're not going in and replanting every year. It's that this whole thing it's pick and play. Like, if you look at how the rows are here, everything is like functional. I'm grabbing the Barbados cherry, I'm grabbing the papaya, I'm grabbing the avocados, and not only is it a tasty treat for you and for your kids, the thing is these right here, these seeds get rid of parasite. These right here are like literally the compounds in Barbados cherry or acerola. You're starting to see this as a superfood. It's literally, these are cancer fighting. These are things that heal your gut. Avocados have so much good fat. We've been like brainwashed in the 90s that fat. Don't be afraid of these things. This is more than just planting. It's literally your entire lifestyle. And it's not just, oh, I'm focusing on food, that's all. This is what God told us to do. This is literally what God told us to do. And then Paul says your body is your temple. How do I serve and worship the Lord if my body's breaking down? So much of this, I know it's a little rant, but I gotta say that in this video, I'm just going really hard in this one of like, I'm super proud of this. And yes, we pray every day over the land. We pray over our team. We pray for our steward. This is more than just taking from the world. We're building a team, we're building a movement to help young men particularly find purpose, to find passion, and to find God. I know, it's a Ryobi. There'll be a lot of comments, but Ace Hardware was not open, so I couldn't get a still gasoline one. Ace, open a little earlier. Just want to show you guys something. When you're putting in your fruit trees, obviously we're mounding up. You see that water kind of pools over there. So we're mounding up our avocados, hate wet feet, mounding up our citrus, our carambola. This is pretty wild. This was a huge Barbados cherry. This ball was gigantic, but look how big this root system is. Look at this, it's almost as big as the actual tree. So why we mound up on these dirt hills here, I can do you take a look, why we mound up is so that way these roots can spread all out. And this Barbados cherry, aka the acerola cherry, who we talk about all the time, one of my favorite Florida guys, this thing can go and spread and just absolutely rip up. This is also why spacing is important too, because we don't want it to get interfere with the bananas, with the papayas, with the mangoes. We leave a certain space all in between. Beautiful, huh? We got Chris here dumping off all of our fresh mulch. It's all local sourced. The rows are looking pretty good. This is the zone 4. This is the south side. Someone explained to me what this is. And this is just so out of control. That's a wrap here. We're gonna walk through. This is zone 1 on the north side, back side is zone 2. We went through that, but we're gonna see exactly what we planted, why we planted it, and what the final result looks like. Bust out the drone for the first time today. So what we have here, we have an existing kind of area. This is that first area we came into. We can see the old trees, pulled them out. We put mulberries straight across here, the Tice mulberries. They'll get nice and thick, create a nice hedge there. We kind of left these up. They were already there, same thing. With our hedge that goes the whole way across, we have the mulberries, we have the cocoa plum, we have the red tip here, the white tip or green tip on the other side, and then we have the dwarf firebush. And the idea is that we create levels going the whole way up. Then we have the beautiful ice cream bean. If you have not had the ice cream bean, this thing gets a nice expansive canopy. It also has fruit that tastes like ice cream. It's fantastic. So we go the whole way down the 150 feet of that. Now we'll take a look at our rows. We'll go through the first one here. This is the avocado row. So all the main crop here are the avocados, and in between we have Barbados cherries. Now, we have these according to size and the productivity. So this right here is a Mexicola. This thing will get nice and big canopy. We want that here towards the end, and then it will slope down. That's a Super Haas. I think that we have the Brogdon right here. This would be the second biggest. And then the other one that we have here is that we put in the Lula. Lula's awesome. It's December to March, so it's a late avocado. So they'll have avocados year round with this, and it starts, like I said, they'll get bigger and bigger. We'll prune them, take care of them. The bananas, we have vetiver in here. We have pineapples in here. We have the bananas in here for the chop and drop. We pulled some of the pigeon pea. We'll see if that works. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. As far as surviving, we dug up a lot of this stuff. Trying to reuse as much as we could from this project. When we go through here, this is very heavy carambola. We have the curry and the feng tuang. And then we also have a lot that's in here. We have a lot of the ginger that we have. We have more papayas, and we have citrus through here. So the citrus through here are lime. Normally we don't do citrus, but the thought process is that with the mango row here, these will get nice and big, kind of shade out, so these things aren't getting so hit. This is the red lime. I think it's a mix between like a lemon and a tangerine. Like you can see, obviously very heavy mulch. Got a strawberry tree there at the end. You can see the rows, see how uniform these are. When they walk, they can just pick and go. All the shade that they're gonna have in here, especially when it gets hot. It's hot in Florida. My wife loves to hear me say it because I try to act like it's not hot. It is, it's hot and humid. All these plants love this. When we go from the mangoes, the whole way down, the mangoes the same way. They get big and then they start to slope down. Did it on purpose so it's easy to get through this pathway right here. Also, our varieties of mangoes, we have the Pickering, which is the smallest. I think we have a Kerry right here. Yeah, we have the Kerry, then we have the Glen, then we have the Hayden at the end. So they'll get big, they're gonna produce various different seasons. That's the idea of the Syntropic here, is that we have a ton of biomass, easy pathways, and we have very productive fruits. And when some things aren't producing right away, all these other ones are. So these bananas are popping, these papayas are popping, these gingers are popping, the citrus, like we can already see, we got some star fruit popping in on here already. So this is the idea of the Syntropic row. Anybody can have this. It also creates a privacy hedge. You got a windbreak, everything's edible, everything's productive. One thing people don't know about the cocoa plum, very good fruits. I love the red and the white cocoa plum. They're fantastic. They're also little berries. You may, some people eat these, some people don't, on the fire bush, but these are great pollinators, which is why we put these in. So here is zone 1, obviously pathways, 6 foot. These are 5 foot wide, these are 6 foot, but we can get a mower in and out. It's cheaper to have these in, the grass feels good on your feet. We cleaned up that existing banana pit over there. Look at that, that's what happens when you have a banana circle and that just rips. And let's go check out zone 4. Here we go. Here's the privacy hedge, the windbreak. We have a lychee in the front. Lychee is anchoring both ends. Cocoa plum and the fire bush again. This is the green tip cocoa plum. So it's like more of a white fleshy fruit. It's gonna, so good. All right, so now we look at our main row. We're trying to salvage a lot of what they already had here. So a lot of that we had put the sweet almond in, just another great pollinator. We have the strawberry guava. We have, this is, what do they have here? They had a tangelo. Tangelo is great. We have lemongrass, we have bananas, we have pink lady, papayas in here. We have, again, multiple different types of lemon or lime, because they love lime. This one is an Indian sweet. I haven't had that one, but we got a bunch of different varieties. Obviously your moringa, your powerhouse, although some people are saying that there's apparently this research that is saying that what we have here on our hedge, we have the Tice mulberry. Apparently mulberries, their leaves have more protein and more nutrients than the moringa. I don't know if this is true. This is research we gotta look up. We also have, instead of the ice cream bean here, we have the Chico / Sapodilla. Different names depending on where you're from. Here we have nectarine. We have a guava here, more bananas, more papayas. We have one of my favorites, which is fruiting already. Got a bunch of fruits on it. This right here is infamous pomegranate. So they are raw vegan. So all these things are gonna like fill them up. Ton of antioxidants, ton of nutrients. Have a food forest in your yard. And you just never have to deal with anything. We're in the business of prevention. Starting to fruit, starting to flower. This is a ruby red grapefruit. That was already there. We put in the guavas. We have the white guava. We also had the pink guavas in. Again, more papayas. These are heavy grapefruits. So we have 4 grapefruits in this row. They love grapefruits. We try to not have citrus, but again, it's gonna have this hedge. It's gonna be in some shade. We find citrus does way better in shade than just your standard rows and fields. I know it looks like that now, but it's gonna be nice and lush in about 6 months. That moringa is gonna create a great hedge for it. Also, you can cut the moringa composite right there, and every year it's gonna grow up thicker and thicker. Look up the moringa. It's a powerhouse plant. Not only does it create biomass, when we chop it, it puts nitrogen in the soil, so then it triggers everything else to start to fruit, but it is just a powerhouse. More guavas, another grapefruit, and then we just continue that pattern. Different types of guavas, different types of grapefruits. This is a very citrus heavy Syntropic layout, something we normally try to avoid, but when we came to this site, we found 2 things. One, the irrigation was a lot of cracks in it, so it was flooding out. So a lot of the flood stuff we thought was really from irrigation, so we fixed that. Second thing we noticed is that a lot of citrus on the south side really were crushing it. It's like 70 degrees-ish mid-December, so the citrus here were like thriving. Now everything else, the mangoes, the avocados, were all trash, but when we pulled them out, we saw that they were waterlogged. A lot of breaks in the irrigation, like I said, and they were just sitting in that. So that's why we mound this up. You can see mound this up pretty high. It's about a foot total. It was about 8 inches of soil, about 4 inches of the mulch that we have here. Again, everything's local, all from Myakka, brought it all in. But this is it. This is what you could have. This is the Syntropic rows. This is our biggest Syntropic row that we've done. We have a couple more projects coming up. Just remember, we're doing all this for the glory of God. We don't just do the one mono crop. We build a forest because that's what Eden was. Eden was essentially one big fruit forest. This is a very lush system that's gonna crush it. It's getting back to the roots of humanity, and we will continue to act as stewards with this family. So we have maintenance programs and memberships to be able to help maintenance this. We'll do more videos so you can see exactly how we do things and why we do things. And if you want something like this in your home, if you want to heal body, mind, and spirit, click the link down here and sign on up. We'd love to build a food forest out for you anywhere in Florida. We'll see you next time. Godspeed.